Right, we're going to get this started. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gina Spatafor, Trade Show Manager for NEC Display. And today we're going to talk about, we're going to review NEC's interactive and collaboration solutions. Before I turn it over to our presenter, I just want to review a few things. All lines have been muted. And if you do have any questions, feel free to use the chat and we will review them at the end. Today's presenter is George Borden, Solution Sales Architect, part of our NEC Solutions team. George is going to be demonstrating our interactive and collaboration solutions in real time. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to George.
Gina, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you're at. Really appreciate you coming online and joining me for my my last, at least temporary, last injunction here of collaboration and interactivity. We're taking a break in June. My handlers have given me a break for that. It's because they know that I'm going to get diverted with other activity now that things are opening up, which is really great. For any of you that have been with me for the last 2.5 months, we've been getting through this and talking about these different things that we've been succumbed to. And I think one of the great things about NEC and our collaboration solutions is that you have a choice. You have a choice to get the right hardware and the right product for what your plans are moving into the future. As we keep opening things up, we're going to have better rules and understanding of what load balancing needs to be done from folks like currently like we're working from home to who's going to be going back into the office. And hopefully what I show you today will give you a better glimpse into the pathway in which you need to go down that road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about the two solutions that we have in this space. The first one's going to be the Infinity board here to my left, and then we're going to segue over and talk about the CB series to my right shortly thereafter. So let's begin with this the Infinity board here. Infinity board, it comes in 4 different sizes. This is the 55-inch version. It also has 65-inch, 75-inch, and 86-inch versions as well. So what is the Infinity board? Well, the foundation of this product is our V-Series display. And for those of you that are familiar with the V-Series display, you understand and can appreciate what it is. For those that do not, I can get you some additional information about that in a spec sheet. But fantastic display, 500 nits, everything that you would ever want in order to do not only the collaboration element, but also other added elements that you can attach to this product as well. So a great, fantastic display. Now, on top of the display, the touch that we're using on this particular solution is called Flat Frog In-Glass Touch. And Flat Frog In-Glass Touch is a hybrid IR sensor type of touch technology. It's not completely IR like the CB series, and it's not peak cap like our tablets and our phones that we carry around with us. But it is an extremely responsive, wonderful touch technology that you would use if you're going to be working on a solution like this. A majority of the time, you would definitely want a fantastic touch solution like Flat Frog In-Glass Touch. In addition to that, we also have Flat Frog whiteboard software that's provided as well. So in addition to the Flat Frog, in addition to the V-Series display, we also have a soundbar for the 55-inch model that you can see there positioned on top. That soundbar can also be put at the bottom of the Infinity board as well. And for the 3 larger sizes, 65-inch, 75, and 86-inch, we have stereo speakers that flank the right and the left of the product. In the middle of the soundbar, you can see a webcam installed on that. It's the other great thing about the product. It's everything ready to go right out of the box, so webcam is included. This particular webcam that we have in the Infinity board series is called the Hudley Iq. And the Hudley Iq is one of the most advanced webcams on the market. Essentially, the Infinity board, as you can see, is made up not only of the V-Series display, but the other, I would consider them best of breed in their sector products, including the Hudley webcam. Hudley webcam boasts, really great features, including 150-degree viewing angle, the ability to be updated via software. It has some AI characteristics that you can tap into, artificial intelligence characteristics. It does auto framing, so if I'm the only one within viewpoint of the camera and then somebody else comes in and sits by me, it shows them automatically. So it's a great camera that you would want to have in an environment where a premium product like this would be positioned in a boardroom, a huddle room, a conference room, anywhere in those type of environments that you would have a need for this. Now, also what's powering this unit, you can see a Windows 10 desktop here. So we have an OPS computer that powers this unit running Windows 10. And we have a couple different flavors of OPS depending upon what your content needs are and how you want to install a device like this within your organization or your facility. But basically, the OPS is a powerful player. And just to do a little show and tell here, for those that don't know or are not familiar with an OPS, this is what one looks like. small little form factor computer. We have some USB ports on that, and even a DisplayPort output. So if you wanted to take video and send it to other devices or projector devices, then you can certainly do that with the OPS unit. So ultimately what you have here is a ready-to-go premium product, industrial in nature, that will allow you to run basically any software that you're currently running now if you're running on the Windows ecosystem. So we've approached it in that regard because it's an open platform solution. We're not pigeonholing you in this regard to just one certain thing where you have to fit a piece of software into it. We can run many different applications on this, including the ones you're so familiar with: Zoom, WebEx, BlueJean, Teams. Of course, Teams is very popular nowadays. But by virtue of this being a Windows 10 device, there's a lot that you can do with it. Now, one of the things you've noticed here is that I'm just currently in a desktop mode. You could put this in a tablet mode as well, but ultimately the product can lend to being too open, and you may want to have an extra layer of security to that. So if you have an environment where you need a product like this in any one of those mentioned areas, this next product here, or this add-on software product to the Infinity board, may be something that you would want to consider. So it's called Quick Launch. And what Quick Launch will do is it essentially acts as a software overlay to the Windows 10 operating system. So it locks out everything in the background. The administrative settings in this product alone are so robust that you'll be able to lock down the Infinity board and keep prying eyes from getting back into the administration, or doing something or undoing some settings or anything like that. But as you can see here, this screen is completely customizable. I only have my colors and the NEC logo here just for example, but you can put your own corporate logo, your own colors, whatever that you want to do here. And so what would happen is that you would see the names of your associates that are having meetings within the Infinity board for the day. The icon over here to the right will show what application that they're going to be using for that meeting during the day. And then you can customize little areas for whatever associated software icons that you want. So up here I have, some Quick Launch controls for a dock view within Quick Launch itself. I can do some wireless sharing if I want. Down here I have a Zoom icon, Skype, and some other icons down here. So if you have the need to use a product like this and you want to take it another level where you can add lockdown features and convenience features for your end users, also ultimately, the product will allow you to time out if you leave the meeting room. So, it happens with all of us that we're working in a hectic way in a business environment. If you go in, you have your meeting, then all of a sudden you get rushed out of the meeting, you may forget to log out. The next person comes into the meeting room, your credentials are still up there. They may be able to log into your account and do some malicious things, but not with Quick Launch. With Quick Launch, if you accidentally leave the room and forget to log out, it will log you out automatically after a period of time. So ultimately, with the Infinity board and a couple of different derivatives that we have with Quick Launch, without Quick Launch, some of the other different options with OPS, the Infinity board is a perfect high-end premium product that can do great collaboration and interactivity for your organization. Now, with that being known, let me go ahead and I'm just a one-man director here in my home office, so we're going to just do a quick adjustment of the camera, and then I'm going to show you the other product called the Collaboration board. Okay, so hopefully I'm in frame enough. Let me back it up a little bit. Forgive me, everybody. Okie doke. So now we're looking at the CV series here. So the CV series, like the Infinity board, is also a 4K display. And the touch that we have on this is IR touch. So it's infrared. That means a beam's going this way, a beam's going this way. We touch in the middle, that breaks the beam. That contact point is where the touch point happens. So IR is a fantastic touch technology, and it tracks really well on this particular product. Now, this product's a little bit different than the Infinity board, but it still has a lot of power, and ultimately the price point for this product is a lot lower, but it doesn't mean it's a lot less in functionality and usability. When I go through this demo, you're going to see that this thing can not only be a standalone product as it is, but it also can have other devices attached to it that you can turn this thing into something, that is reminiscent of the Infinity board with other pieces and parts put together. So we give you different options here to choose from at NEC. Now, when this unit boots up, it boots up to this screen from the solid-state media player inside the CB. That solid-state media player is running Android 8.0. So it's the only product in our arsenal that runs Android 8.0. And then you can see the time and date there as it comes up. The first icon we have here is for our whiteboard software called Mosaic Canvas. The second icon that we have there is for a file sharing and device sharing software called Mosaic Connect. So basically you can download an app, you can install this app on your iOS or Android device, tablet, or even use a Google Chrome web browser, and you can present information to the CB series remotely, even if you're not in proximity to the CB board. So it's a cloud-based piece of software that we provide with the purchase of the CB. And by the way, any of the software that I show you on this product, there are no ongoing fees associated with this. There are no other costs. It comes included within the price of the product. Over here we have files and folders icon. The next one over there is settings, and then the last icon down there on the right are the different inputs that we can affect to the product, which we'll go into more in depth. Now, because this is an Android device, we have some different navigation. So the Android folks will know this and be all familiar with it, but the first button we have here is to go back. So wherever you're at in the screen, you hit the back button, it'll take you back one screen. The next selection down here is the home button. So just like the back button, if you click on home, you're going to go to home. It doesn't matter where you're at on the product, doesn't matter where you're at with an external device. If you want to go back to this home screen here, just hit home and it'll take you back. When you open up an application in the CB series, it doesn't completely close when you minimize it. It's actually kept on deck here, so that if you want to bring it back out quickly, or if you want to recoup some system resources and processes, you can close this as well. But basically, we can just go ahead and scroll to get rid of it, or we could have tapped and opened it back up. But that's what that button's for there. The CB series, unlike the IB, you can annotate over top of anything that you bring into the product. With the Infinity board, you have to have the software in order to annotate, and so that could be whatever annotation software you use. Again, it's the Windows 10 ecosystem. Any software you're familiar with, you can use it. But unlike that, we have an annotation layer on this. So when I go ahead and click on this button here, it brings up this dialog area that I can float anywhere on top of the screen. And the first button here is our writing tool. So that writing tool is a pen tool. The second one over we have is a highlighter tool. This next icon is a broom. It represents erase, and then the last one to the right of that is called save. Obviously, it's the save button. So you can save your overlay, your annotation overlay as a PNG image file. If you tap on these icons, they change color. So I can just go ahead and I can start writing immediately. Obviously, black's not going to look good on a black background. Here's the highlighter. And then if you want to save, just hit the save button, and then it puts that PNG image file in a directory labeled today's date. So it's another convenient thing about the CV series. You don't have to hunt and peck in your file structure to go, oh, where did I save that annotation? It's saved there very conveniently in that folder. When you're done annotating, you just click on the X, and then it brings you back to operating spec again, so you can go and work on any other icon on the product. Now, the other thing below the annotation layer is zoom. So we can zoom in and out. So if anybody in the back of the room can't see anything, no problem, you can do that. The next selection underneath are some other provided softwares that we give you in the CV series. The first one here is called Spotlight. So if you wanted to have an image or some type of text and you wanted to create some attention just to a certain portion of it, you can pinch and zoom the spotlight, and you can drag that anywhere on top of the canvas or the document that you're sharing. The other two icons over here, they represent watches or stopwatches. So the first one's a countdown clock. So if I wanted to do a countdown clock, like maybe if it's an education environment, okay, everybody, you got 1 minute to take the quiz. And then I go ahead and deliver the quiz to them, start the countdown clock, and you could use an example like that with the countdown clock. We also have a stopwatch. So the stopwatch is available, and just like a true stopwatch, it has a lap button there, so you can take advantage of that. And then the last icon over here is another fantastic piece of software called AirClass. And what AirClass does is it allows the students or those that are witnessing a talk or anybody that you're presenting the CB series to in a local area network in the same proximity, they can actually do interactivity and voting. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute once we get into the whiteboard software. A couple other things about, while I'm here, a couple other things about it is that you have network notification icons. So down here is if you had a tethered Ethernet connection in for your network, it would show a signal here. I have a wireless dongle on mine, so the Wi-Fi connection is being shown there. Lastly, before I get into the whiteboard, you can see these dots down here in the lower right-hand corner. That's where you get to your applications that you load into the product. So I have, Adobe Acrobat, I have a browser, I have Dropbox. basically what you do is you go to what's called an APK download site, because an APK file is like an executable file in the Windows world, and APK is the program files for Android. So you go to an APK download site, there's tons of them out there. You find your APK download of your software, you put it on a thumb drive, put it in the front of the CV unit, and then double tap on the icon, and then it loads directly into the CV. So you can have those kind of applications that you use on a day-to-day go-to level readily available for ease of access when you're using this product. Now I go back to the home button here. Another thing that we can do is we can actually scroll the screen over to the left, and we can get to the icons for our applications that way as well. So let's go ahead and look at the first piece of software in addition to these little courtesy ones we give you. This one's called Mosaic Canvas. Screen's going to flash a little bit because even though I'm turning the brightness down on this, it still washes out, so forgive me on that. So you see the blank screen here. Let me give you an understanding of what you're looking at here. The first thing up here, this is where you would name the sign. So you would give your board a name up here. Down here in the lower left-hand corner, we've got our open, save, and save as. The really great thing that I like about our whiteboard is that you can actually have more than one whiteboard opened up in a session. Some other ones that I've seen, they've been real basic and they'll just do a one and then you're done. You can't actually put a logical progression of some type of class information or a lesson plan or just anything like some type of presentation together. You have to open up each thing individually. Well, not with this. You can have many slides open. You can add different boards. You can design them to your heart's content. Now, the other thing we have is our little dialog box here. So when you tap on that, these are the different implements that you can affect to the whiteboard. The first one here is our writing tool. So we have a pen tool here, a line tool, an arrow, different thicknesses that you can affect to that, and then some different colors that we can change. So if I want to go ahead and make a thick red arrow, no problem. Or I want to make one blue, change it up. I want a line. I want to do a freehand thing. No problem. Easy to do. Highlighter, it works the same way. You just select your highlighter tool, your color, and your thickness, and you're off and running. Let me erase this real quick. We also have a shape tool. So shape tool, you can bring your shapes in, and just like with the writing implements, you can change the color and the thickness of those shapes also. As expected, you can bring in text. So here comes our keyboard. We can float that anywhere on top of the whiteboard, and then we can put in our text. And then there's our text. So if we tap on that text again, it brings up some other things that we can change to it. Let me go ahead and bring that down here a little bit closer. So let me tap on that. Now you can see the different things that we can do. We can change the font type, we can change the size, and then it has some other little basic word processor familiar things, justifications that we are used to. So it's really great. And then you can copy, you can even copy the text, you can cut it just like you can in a regular word processor right on the fly. Post-it notes, if you want to bring in a post-it note, not a problem. Just select the post-it note icon, type your text into the post-it note, go back up here again. We can add another one in. And then you can keep adding as more as you want. One other thing about this, you can also change the color. So you can change the color of the post-it note. That color palette's in there. I would never do a black post-it note, but it's hard to read. But anyway, you can change the color, you get the idea. Now, once you're done with these things, you can move them around. You can move the post-it note around, then you can get back into the writing tool. Let's do an arrow, a thick arrow. Now we can do different things like this. So, the sky's the limit. We have these basic tools in here that will allow you to create the design that you want and with whatever mission that you're trying to get across. Now let's go ahead and erase this stuff. And speaking of erase, we have 3 different ways to erase. The first one that I've been using is the single erase. The second one here is a selector, so you can select a group of items. And then the third one up top is a trash can where you can eliminate the entire board all at once. You can bring in pictures, so no problem. Any image file can be brought in. Let's do something practical today. Imagine if a device like this was in a locker room during halftime. And, the coach, wanted to get the plays. You just get on the writing implement, get the color, start making your plays, no problem. Just little examples like that. So any image can be brought in. You can mark up on that. And then the last icon up there in the top middle, it saves the whole entire board and all your edits as a PNG image file. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this. Do the gang erase. Now we're back to operating spec again. So let's look at a practical example real quick. Forgive me for getting out of frame because I need to get my phone so I could show you air class. So I'm going to open up a little example that I've done a long time ago. And this is just a little simple quiz. So let's just say that here's the class information. It's old Abraham Lincoln. So we're going to go ahead and assume we've already taught the class this information on Abraham Lincoln. Well, because the whiteboard can have more than one whiteboard, you can go to the second whiteboard, and there's my little 2-question quiz that I put together for the class. Traditionally, what would the teacher do? They would, say, hey, class, here's the question number 1. Raise your hand if you know the answer and all that stuff. You don't have to do that anymore because Air Class allows the user to have their own device to vote. So you can either use the QR code there with a device like mine, Google Pixel. It'll read the QR code and it'll take you right to the IP address of the CD board, or you can type the IP address into your browser as well. Now, when it gets you to that destination, this is what it looks like. So it recognizes my name, and then when I hit enter, it's going to take me to a different screen, and that's the selector screen. So now we have true, false, and then we can do A, B, C, D, E, F multiple choice, and then the other thing we can do is we can actually put a message on top of the CV board. So I'll show you that in a second. So just for the quick example of one of these questions and how this works, you have different selections down here on Air Class. So the first one here is the multiple choice selection. The second one over here is the true false selection. So let's go ahead and do that. Hey class, Abe Lincoln was our 23rd president, true or false? Well, let's go to the true and false. The teacher hits that button. They hit the begin button. The users vote. So I'm going to hit false. I'm going to hit OK. And it's recognized that my entry has been received. So now once we're done, we click the finish button, and then your results get posted instantaneously in front of the group. That's the correct answer. You're 100%. And if others were in the session, I'm the only one in it, so it's not really a truly good example, but you can see just the effect that you have on having that information show up. This is especially great because in today's day and age, we're all getting instant gratification with our answers and thumbs up and thumbs down, but to be able to show this with no additional costs and ongoing support fees, it's a really great deal. So we'll finish our class. We'll finish our quiz here in a second, but a couple other things I wanted to show you. If you wanted to have the class respond, you can hit this thing called Responder. And what Responder will do is it'll allow anybody with the device to respond accordingly. So let's go ahead and hit Start. Does anybody know the answer to the question? I'm going to hit OK. Boom, it knows that I answered the question. So imagine how convenient that would be in a classroom of 20 different people. Boom, to be able to answer like that without going, ooh, me. So let's go to this next one here. For the bashful students, let's go to this one called Selector. Now I'm the only one in the session here, but if you hit Start and there are a bunch of people, it randomly selects somebody. So we have 2 different ways to engage the audience for the CV board, and they're both really fun. Lastly, we have a message capability. So if I wanted to privately, or should I say unobtrusively ask a question, then I just put in my message here. I hit the send button, and then the message scrolls from the top right to the top left. And that's the Air Class. When you're done, just hit the exit button and you're out of Air Class. And then lastly, let's look at the last board here with the final answers. And that's how easy it is to work the whiteboard with the Air Class solution. Last thing before I move on, you can save everything as a PDF as well. So in the upper right-hand corner here, we've got the Download PDF button. You can download not only a single board, but you can also download the entire collection of whiteboard that you do on the CV series. All right, let's get out of that. We'll go back to the home button. Now the next one here is Mosaic Connect. Mosaic Connect developed for us specifically by DisplayNote Corporation. This product allows up to 4 individual remote users to be on deck to present their information singularly to the CV series. So what the user will do is they'll go to connectmosaic.com and they're going to download the Mosaic app. So I have the Mosaic Connect app right here. And what it does is it fires up, and then it's going to ask for the 6-digit code. So that's a unique code to this session. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. 5, 8. I'll put my initials in here. I'm going to hit the connect button, and hopefully technology cooperates. And then we'll see some type of activity over there in the box. So now it sees that it's recognizing who I am. It's now authenticating. And this service is a cloud service, so you can be anywhere with an internet connection, regardless of what type of connection it is, and it will find this session and it will allow you to present your device. So I'm now activated, I'm now in it. I'm going to go ahead and hit present. I'm going to share my screen, and then it's going to show you my screen on my phone. And there you go. Now, and also, if you have a device like mine, this is Google Pixel XL first generation, if it supports orientation shift, then the Connect Mosaic will also follow. So obviously the networks are a little clunky here because I have 25,000 different CPUs on my network. But when you get some device displaying information remotely, then the user at the head end can then go ahead and annotate on that image or whatever, do their markups, and then if they want, they can go ahead and save that as a PNG image file, which we won't do. Let's get out of that. Once you get out of the annotation layer, then you can go back in, you can stop presenting, exit the session, and then that's how easy it is to use Mosaic Connect. So it's very great. And I have one of my associates there. I wonder if that's one of my buddies from the New England area. I think it is, because that Dave looks familiar than any other Dave. I'm not sure. But anyway, you get the idea. Somebody just on this session found the code. They had the app. They were able to log in. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. All right, let's keep moving forward. So one of the other great things about the product is that there's just a ton of inputs for this thing. So let's open up my Adobe Acrobat real quick. You get a better idea of what kind of ports we have just by looking at this picture. So you have on the right side and on the underneath on the right side, you have an additional 3 USB ports. Over here you have HDMI 1 input and HDMI 2 input. So, you know, you can have your own device plugged into this unit. And you see this USB connection here in proximity to the HDMIs. That actually passes the touch command to the external device. So this CB series becomes a controller for your external devices, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. I even have a Google Chromecast plugged into this thing. Obviously no touch capability there, but you can take advantage of doing different things with these different peripherals. So you can pass touch to that. Now the touch is HID touch, human interface device touch, so it's basically generic device like a keyboard or a mouse. There's no special drivers required. Just plug in the HDMI connection, plug in the USB. It finds the device, and then you're controlling it directly from the unit. And I'll show you a little example of that in a minute. We have a third HDMI which serves the same purpose. It also has a USB as well. And then if you have the need for any VGA inputs, we're providing that with this product too, so you have VGA. The unit has 2 12-watt speakers built into it, so you can actually feed audio into it with this analog audio import. You can actually take digital audio out with our SPDIF port. RS-232C capability, we can accept a handful of RS-232 commands to remote control and do some automation. Audio out, LAN port, and we even have another USB port rounding it up. You know, another great thing about CB Series 2 is that it actually comes with a wall mount. So if you know you're going to put one of these things in a stationary environment, then the wall mount it comes with the kit. Again, that's just one less thing you have to worry about when you're looking at this fantastic solution. And the stylus that I'm using here, featured here, this is a passive stylus, and I failed to mention on the Infinity board that those are passive stylus as well. And what that means for users that are new to this technology, there's no battery, no charging, no connectivity needed whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I don't even need it. I can use my fingers on this. I can use a credit card. It really doesn't matter, and it's tough as nails. It's really strong. You can bang on this thing all day long. So that gives you an idea of how this thing can turn into a whole another, experience. Now let's go ahead and look at that. Let's go into the input section here real quick. So here's my 3 HDMIs. There's my VGA down there. Here's my Windows 10 OPS. So I have a Windows 10 OPS computer plugged into this. So let's go ahead and go to that. Let's click on there. And there's my desktop. So now I'm completely out of, doing the internal, media player of the CB, and now I'm showing you a OPS player running Windows 10 Pro. So here I am running my Microsoft Teams. Any other Microsoft product that I want to pop up, I can do it. Any other open platform, type of software, I can run it. So essentially what you can do is you can take this CB series priced effectively in the market. You can add your own peripheral to it to get into the Windows world, and you can do a, like what most people do, put your Logitech $40 webcam, in play if you can even find them, or any other type of DSLR camera with some type of converter, and then you got a true collaboration with the camera, the whole 9 yards. Very, very, very effective way to get things done, but ultimately you're not, kept to that. You can put whatever other device that you want within the product. So everybody, with that being said, I've kind of, blitzed through this in kind of a Cliff Notes version. Essentially with NEC, you have these two solutions. Again, I'm going to, tell you the Infinity board there is a premium product for premium environments. The collaboration board down here is more of a universal product that can be put into many different environments. But the argument could be made for both cases. It really just depends on you, the user, what you want to do, how you're going to work, how you're going to grow into the future, and how you're going to load balance employees on-prem and working remotely. That also brings us to other, discussion points or things that we should probably consider, which is what type of software are we using. Some software has annotation capabilities built into it. Like, for instance, if you use Microsoft Teams, there's a Microsoft whiteboard that you can actually access during a Teams call. And things like that. So when you're working with NEC, you're not only getting, two fantastic products that can be malleable and work within your situation, you're also working with our solutions team that's going to understand what you really need to do and put you into the product that is best for you. Additionally, if these two things don't make sense, a majority of our other display products also have the capability to have an OPS computer in it or an external computer attached to it. And then with our partnership with a third-party touch overlay company, we can actually provide that solution to you as well. So with that, everybody, I really appreciate your time. I'm going to leave the session open here for a few minutes for any questions that may come about. And thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, George. Great job. We'll leave it open for another a bit for any questions. But in the meantime, I do want to throw out there that we do have another webinar on Monday, which is a CTS course, Best Practices when Choosing a Video Wall Solution, and that is worth 1 CTS RU credit. And, feel free to keep checking back on our website. We'll add it, if we have any other webinars, we will be adding that as well. But it doesn't look like we have any questions unless I'm missing any. George, I don't know if you see any, but I think anything came through for you, but doesn't look like it.
Okay. No, it doesn't mean that
right.
That's not a bad thing. But anyway, no, nothing more to add. If you want to reach me offline, you can reach me at gborden@necdisplay.com. I answer my emails, I pick up the phone, and I'm more than happy to help you specifically if you don't want to use the chat function on here. So thank you again, everybody, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend as well. Be safe. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thanks.